This video is about solo travelling to a world-class surfing event, taking photos there, and how it is to be at a beach resort as a solo traveller. My idea of a trip to Hossegor, a famous surf location in France, sparked from interest in seeing some top-class surfing that I had formed when travelling to Australia and Hawaii. My friends wouldn't surf when I visited them, but I formed a desire to at least see some world-class surfers in action at some point. Hossegor holds both men's and women's legs of the World Surf League events in France. It is arguably the easiest event for someone from the UK to get to, though there are also events held in Portugal. It has great barrels just off the beach and alternative breaks further out. Because surf events are held across a waiting period to give a good chance of surfable waves, you either go for the whole waiting period or take a risk and only go to part of it. I took a risk and arrived there on a waiting day. The men's competition had reached the quarters, the women's the semis. It gave me a chance to scout out the location and work out where the event was being held. This year was La Gravière. The event is flexible and the location can be changed up or down the coast depending on conditions. There was some practice surfing going on in the waiting period, with some of the big names entertaining a small line of people watching the break at La Gravière. The surf was gnarly and broken up, and only the best surfers could make something out of it. It gave me a chance to work out which lens and camera I would need to use for the event. I only had one long lens with me, and this was going to be essential for getting close-up shots. It was 300mm on an APS-C sensor, and not really long enough for the breaks further out. It was okay when the surfers were surfing the barrel close to the shore. The photographers around me all had superior camera gear with better lens, most looking like 600mm and not basic models as I was using. I think if you don't have a 600mm lens, you'll probably want to hire one for photographing a surf event. They were all using monopods to steady the shots, and most were well away from the shoreline. The breakers were coming in at random distances up the shore, and I found if you weren't careful you could be up to your waist in water. Not good for camera gear in your backpack. I used a smartphone to take shots of the crowds. I don't think you're allowed to take photos of strangers in France, but no one seemed to have a problem with a smartphone. I was able to get video of the surfers coming to the beach after they surfed, often passing by within feet of me. So cool to have Carissa Moore, now 4-time world champion, pass only 10 feet away, delighted at winning the event. The first couple of days exploring the location and then finals day were no problem as a solo traveller. There was plenty to see and photograph. Once the event was over though, I still had a couple of days in the location. Being a solo traveller in a beach resort became a bit of an issue. I would normally solo travel to places where there's lots to do so I don't get bored, but beach resorts apart from swimming and sunbathing don't really have that much to do. Going somewhere like Nice where you can spend a couple of hours on the beach but there's also loads to do in the city, take walks around the coast and have easy access to other places up and down the Riviera is good for solo travelling, but a beach resort doesn't really have that many options. I think Hossegor would be fine as a solo trip if you surfed or had some other water sport you could do there. Also, if you were good at making friends in the surfing community and were part of the scene. As a photographer you would also have something to do there if you were photographing one of the main breaks on a good surf day. It might become more of a struggle to find stuff to do if the conditions were poor. I photographed the nearby coast with a photo walk round to the port of Cap Breton. There were certainly photos to be found, but you had to hunt them out once you got away from the beach. Generally, I was glad I went, seeing some amazing surfing from surfers like Italo Ferreira. The women too were amazing, seeing Carissa Moore, Caroline Marks, Lakey Peterson and the French favourite Johnanne Defay battle it out for the top 4 places with some incredible surfing. The ocean at Hossegor is amazing with huge waves pounding in all day from the Atlantic. Getting into it and being knocked down by wave after wave took me back to family holidays when we had visited the French southwest. We would spend 2 weeks of the summer holidays getting tanned, eating good food and swimming all day in the ocean, getting fit and healthy. Oh, so long ago.
Let's give it one more time, Johnanne!